Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय।
जय
बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा
राइट, कल हम लोग श्लोक 33 पढ़ रहे थे और जैसा कि हम लोग इसमें पढ़ रहे हैं, प्रहलाद महाराज goes to near Kaveri river. He finds a Mahatma just lying like a ajgar, very still, right? And Prahlad Maharaj is asking him about why he is lying like that, why he is not doing any creative activities, right? Why he is not engaged in the karma. And that's where he responds to Prahlad Maharaj. And because Prahlad Maharaj himself is Mahabhagavad, yeah, that Rishi, the Swami, agrees to answer to Prahlad Maharaj's questions, right? And what we are reading right now is what he is describing. And like we read yesterday, continue to read that. Says, those who are considered materially powerful and rich are always full of anxieties because of governmental laws, thieves and robbers, enemies, family members, animals, birds, persons seeking charity, the inevitable time factor, and even their own selves. Thus, they are invariably afraid. So what that sadhu is saying is that even if somebody is so powerful or very rich, yeah, he has a fear factor from all those things. Yeah, from Raj, Shastru, Swajan, Pashu, Pakshi, and Kal. Kal is the time, right? No one has control over the time. And even from Swa, Swasmanityam, right? From self himself as well, they are invariably afraid. Is what this Sadhu Mahatma is speaking. We start reading from slok 34. Anil ji.
शोक मोह भय क्रोध राग क्लैब श्रमादयः यन्मूलाः स्यूर्णम् जयात् स्पृहां प्राणार्थ योर्बुधः. Those in human society who are intelligent should give up the original cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, attachment, poverty, and unnecessary labor. The original cause of all these is the desire for unnecessary prestige and money. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so what Sadhu is saying is those who are intelligent human beings, right, which means 99.99% are no, right, according to Sadhu Mahatma, right? So those who are intelligent, really intelligent, should give up shok, moha, bhai, krodh, rag, etc., etc., right? And why? Because these are the original cause of the desire for prestige and money. Yeah, is what he is saying. Ajay?
मधुकार मधुकार महासपौ लोके अस्मिन्नो गुरु गुरुतमो वैराग्यम परितोषम च प्राप्य यक्षिच्छया vayam. The bee and the pythons are two excellent spiritual masters who give us exemplary instructions regarding how to be satisfied by collecting only a little and how to stay in one place and not move. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And Sadhu is saying the Madhu, yeah, that's the Madhumaki, and Mahasarpu, that's the Ajgar, are the two examples who teaches us how to stay in one place, like how to stay sthir, right? Viragah sarvakamebhya sikshito me madhuvritat krichat tam madhuvrittim hatva panyo haretpatim. From the bumblebee I have learned to be unattached to accumulating money. For although money is as good as honey, anyone can kill its owner and take it away. Right? Like how Madhumaki gets all this honey and then it all goes up. Yeah. Anilji?
Aniha paritustatma yadraksho panatadaham no cheche brahvahani mahahiriv sattvan. I do not endeavor to get anything, but am satisfied with whatever is achieved in its own way. If I do not get anything, I am patient and unagitated like a python and lie down in this way for many days. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this is the answer which the Sadhu Sant is giving, that, if I don't get anything, I'm okay. And that's why I lie down like a python for many days. Is paritushtatma, right? Ajay?
क्वचिदल्पम क्वचिदुधूरे भुंजे अनम स्वाद्वा क्वचिदुधूरि गुणोपेतम गुणहीनमुत क्वचित श्रद्धयोपहृतम क्वापि कदाचिन्मान वर्जितम भुंजो भुक्तात् कस्मिन् श्रद्धा नकतम यदृच्छया. Sometimes I eat a very small quantity and sometimes a great quantity. Sometimes the food is very palatable and sometimes it is stale. Sometimes prasad is offered with great respect and sometimes food is given neglectfully. Sometimes I eat during the day and sometimes at night. Thus I eat what is easily available. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, उसके धैर्य की बात हो रही है, या क्वचित अल्पम, like sometimes alpam, just a small quantity. Kvachit bhuri, bhuri is the bigger quantity. Yeah, bhujya anna, swad as swado, like sometimes it's tasty, sometimes not. Yeah, and then there's sadyo pahatam kwapi, like sometimes people give it respect, and sometimes karuchit man varjita, like without man, right? Sometimes people just give, but he eats whatever he can get, either din or night, yeah, diva or naktam, he eats whatever is easily available. Shomam dukul majinam chiram valkal meva vase anyadapi sampraptam dista bhuktasta dhiraham. To cover my body, I use whatever is available, whether it be linen, silk, cotton, bark, or deer skin, according to my destiny, and I am fully satisfied and unagitated. Anilji?
क्वचिच्छये धरोपस्थे प्रणश्म भस्मसु क्वचित् प्रसाद पर्यङ्के कशिपो वा परेच्छया. Sometimes I lie on the surface of the earth, sometimes on leaves, grass or stone, sometimes on a pile of ashes, or sometimes by the will of others, in a palace on a first-class bed with pillows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah, and the sadhu is continuously responding that Kvachit Shaye, right? Dharo Paste, Dharo is the earth, right? So sometimes sleep on earth, sometimes trin, yeah, that is the leaves, Parna, Bhashma, right? So sometimes on leaves, grass, or stone, pile of ashes. And sometimes Prasad Priyanke, Kashipo is like on a nice pillow and first class bed, but by the will of others. Yeah. But he is always satisfied. Okay?
क्वचित् क्वचित् सानु स्वानतो अनिलुप्तांग सुवासाः संगव्यलंग कृतः रथैभाश्वैश्वरी क्वापि दिग्वासा गृहवृद्धिभो. O my Lord, sometimes I bathe myself very nicely, smear sandalwood pulp all over my body, put on a flower garland, and dress in fine garments and ornaments. Then I travel like a king on the back of an elephant or on a chariot or horse. Sometimes, however, I travel naked like a person haunted by a ghost. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the sadhu is lying is responding to Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Isha.
Hare Krishna.
Now you read.
Naham ninde na cha stami svabhava vishamam janam etasham shreya ashite utekatmam mahatmani. Different people are of different mentalities. Therefore, it is not my business either to praise them or to blaspheme them. I only desire their welfare, hoping that they will agree to become one with the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what the sadhu is saying is that Naham Ninde. Yeah. He doesn't blaspheme them. Yeah. Neither he praise them. Yeah. Naham Ninde Chana Stomi. Swabhav Visham. Like everyone has a different swabhav. Yeah. So only thing he is desiring, Asha, is Uttekamyam Mahatmani. Like Uttak Atmam Maha Atmani means that they can become one with Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is what he always desires for everyone. Yeah. Anilji?
As soon as one comes to the platform of Bhakti Yoga, one understands fully that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, is the goal of life. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sudarlavaha. This is the instruction of all the Vedic literature. Vedaischa Sarvair Aham Eva Vedyaha Sarv Dharman Parityajya Mama De Ekam Saranam Braja. There is no use in praising someone for material qualifications or blaspheming him for material disqualifications. In the material world, good and bad have no meaning, because if one is good, he may be elevated to a higher planetary system, and if one is bad, he may be degraded to the lower planetary systems. People of different mentalities are sometimes elevated and sometimes degraded, but this is not the goal of life. Rather, the goal of life is to become free from elevation and degradation and take to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a saintly person does not discriminate between that which is supposedly good and supposedly bad. Rather, he desires for everyone to be happy in Krishna consciousness, which is the ultimate goal of life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So a couple of things mentioned here is, of course, the goal of life is the Krishna consciousness, is the ultimate goal of life. Because you can do pious karmas or unpious karmas. You may go to higher planets, you may go to lower planets, but then you still is continuously in the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. And that is why, say, and also it's being mentioned, Vasudeva Sarvam iti sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. But at the same time, it's saying that it's very, very difficult and very, very, that one in millions, right? As you have read in Bhagavad Gita, who can really surrender to Lord Shri Krishna. And of course, as we have read, Lord Shri Krishna himself has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, like Sarva Dharman Paritajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Sab chhod ke meri sharan mein aa jao. But very few people listen to that, right? But that is the ultimate goal of life. Vikalpam juhyachito tam manashartha vibhrame manovekarike hutva tam mayayam juhotyan. The mental concoction of discrimination between good and bad should be accepted as one unit and then invested in the mind, which should then be invested in the false ego. The false ego should be invested in the total material energy. This is the process of fighting false discrimination. Yeah? Is this Ajay?
As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14.26, Nam chayo vyabhikarna bhakti yogena sarvate se gunan samityatin brahma bhuya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall under any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Thus, devotee's position is secure. A devotee is at once elevated to the spiritual platform. Others, such as Jnanis and Hatha yogis, can only gradually ascend to the spiritual platform by nullifying their material discrimination on the platform of psychology and nullifying the false ego by which one thinks I am this body, a product of matter. One must merge the false ego into the total material energy and merge the total material energy into the supreme energetic. This is the process of becoming free from material attraction. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, but the important part mentioned is Bhakti Yoga Sevati. Yeah. Anilji?
Manubhuto tam mayam juhuyatsya satya drang munihi tato niriho virmeta swanubhutyatmani stitaha. A learned, thoughtful person must realize that material existence is illusion. It is possible only by self-realization. A self-realized person who has actually seen the truth should retire from all material activities, being situated in self-realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna?
By an analytical study of the entire constitution of the body, one can surely come to the conclusion that the soul is different from all the body's material constituents, such as earth, water, fire, and air. Thus, the difference between the body and soul can be realized by a person who is thoughtful, Manishi or Muni, and after this realization of the individual spirit soul, one can very easily understand the Supreme Spirit Soul. If one thus realizes that the individual soul is subordinate to the Supreme Spirit Soul, he achieves self-realization. As explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there are two souls within the body. The body is called Kshetra, and there are two Kshetranyas, or occupants of the body, namely the super soul, Paramatma, and the individual soul. The super soul and the individual soul are like two birds sitting on the same tree, the material body. One bird, the individual forgetful bird, is eating the fruit of the tree, not caring for the instructions of the other bird, which is only a witness to the activities of the first bird, who is his friend. When the forgetful bird comes to understand the Supreme Friend, who is always with him and trying to give him guidance in different bodies, he takes shelter at the lotus feet of that Supreme Bird. As explained in the yoga process, Dhyana vashtita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. When one actually becomes a perfect yogi by meditation, he can see the Supreme Friend and surrender all to him. This is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga, or actual life in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So what is really being mentioned here is that, of course, we have this Sthul Sharir, the gross body. Then we have the Suksham Sharir, yeah, the shuttle body, Man, Buddhi, and Ankar. And then we have the soul, right? Their soul is self-soul, and then there is a supreme soul, right? Atma and Paramatma, both are within yourself. And but Atma doesn't listen to Paramatma, right? And is conditioned with the material nature. But once it starts getting into bhakti yoga, does the self-realization, right? It can surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is the ultimate goal of life. Ajay?
Swat swat swatma vrittam mayatatham te suguptam mapi varnitam vypetam lok shastrabhyam bhavani bhagvat parah. Prahlad Maharaj, you are certainly a self-realized soul and a devotee of the Supreme Lord. You do not care for public opinion or so-called scriptures. For this reason, I have described to you without hesitation the history of my self-realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So ultimately, that Sadhu Maharaj is telling Prahlad Maharaj that because you are yourself a self-realized soul and you are a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I have described you the history of my self-realization, right? And that's the answer why he's lying there, right? It says here the Srimad Bhagavatam instructs Yajane Shankirtan, prayer Yajanti hi Sume Dasha. One who is actually very intelligent must join the Krishna conscious movement, realizing his own self as an eternal servant of Krishna, and thus practice constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? And that's why we also start our reading with chanting, right? And we chant along with Sri Swami Srila Prabhupada's voice. Yeah, it's really nice. Anilji?
Sri Narada Uvacha Dharmam Param Hansam Vai Mune Srutva Sureshwaraha Pujayitva Tata Prita Amantra Prayograham. Narad Muni continued, after Prahlad Maharaj, the king of the demons, heard these instructions from the saint, he understood the occupational duties of a perfect person, Paramhans. Thus he duly worshipped the saint, took his permission, and then left for his own home. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this way Narad Muni continued. And whom is Narad Muni talking to?
Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Yudhishthira Maharaj, right? He's answering question of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj asked him the life of a brahmachari, then life of a varnashram dharma. And that's what he's describing. And to describe that, he gave an example of what happened when Prahlad Maharaj approached a sadhu, and then he asked him the question, and then the sadhu replied, right? So like this, what is being mentioned is the Prahlad Maharaj, who is the Asureshwar, that is the king of the demons. Yeah, he had the instructions about a perfect person, right? Paramahans, that's the perfect person's dharma. What is the dharma? And after listening, Pujitva Tatah Prita, and then he, of course, prayed to the sadhu. And then Prayo Griham is he went for his home. Yeah. So in this purport, Isha.
As quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Kibha Vipra Kibha Nyasi Shudra Kenenaya Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Shri Guru Haya. A guru or spiritual master can be anyone who is well conversant with the science of Krishna. Therefore, although Prahlad Maharaj was a grihastha ruling over the demons, he was a Parahamsa, the best of human beings, and thus he is our guru. In the list of gurus or authorities, Prahlad Maharaj's name is therefore mentioned. Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmu Balir Vyasakir Vayam. The conclusion is that a Paramahamsa is an exalted devotee, Bhagavad Priya. Such a Paramahamsa may be in any stage of life, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, or Sannyas, and be equally liberated and exalted. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, and of course, we know who are the authorities over the religion really, for Vedas and Purans, right? And whom we should really listen to is mentioned here, right? That is Swambhu, right? That's Lord Brahma, Narad Muni, Sambhu is Lord Shiva, Sanat Kumars, Kapil Muni, Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, Bhishma Pitamaha, Bali, and Vedvyas ji, right? We should listen to them. They are the authorities. And so we should actually also remember those personalities, right? And this also ends the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the 7th canto, 13th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Behavior of a Perfect Person. Oh, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll continue reading the chapter 14, and what this describes is really the ideal family life. Ajay?
Shri Yudhishthir Uvaj Grihasth etam padvi vidhina yen chanjasa yaya dev rishe bruh madrisho grih murdhi. Maharaja Yudhishthir inquired from Narad Muni, O Lord, O my Lord, O great sage, kindly explain how we who are staying at home without knowledge of the goal of life may also easily attain liberation according to the instructions of the Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So then, Yudhishthira Maharaj is not just listening about Vanprasth and Sannyasi and Brahmacharya, but also now he's inquiring, what about the Grihasth, right? What about the people, yeah, who doesn't really understand the goal of life, right? But how can they easily attain liberation? Yeah, what is mentioned in the Vedas? That's the question which Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking. Shri Narad Vacha Griheshavastito Rajan Kriya hai kurvanya yochita Vasudeva Arpanam Saksha Dupasita Mahamunim. Narad Muni replied, my dear king, those who stay at home as householders must act to earn their livelihoods, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they should offer these results to Krishna. Vasudeva. How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of great devotees of the Lord. Yeah. So what Narad Muni is really saying, like for the householders, the Grihasth ashram, right? What they should do is they should do all this Kriya, Karma and all that, but then they should Vasudev Arpanam. They should arpan everything, all the results to Vasudev and spend time with devotees, is what is mentioned. Isha?
Srinvan Bhagavato Bhikshnam Avatara Kathamritam Shraddhadhano Yatha Kalam Upashanta Janavrita Satsangach Janake Sangam Atma Jayat Majadishu Vimunchin Muchyamanishu Swayam Sapnavad Putitaha. A grihastha must associate again and again with saintly persons, and with great respect he must hear the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Lord and his incarnations, as these activities are described in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. Thus one should gradually become detached from affection for his wife and children, exactly like a man awakening from a dream. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So the Grihastha ashram, right? After, he should be continuously hearing the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Lord, right? Is what is mentioned here. Shivanam Bhagavato Abhikshanam Avatar Katha Amrita. And that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is. So Bhagavad Gita is what is spoken by Lord Krishna himself. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the Katha of Lord Sri Krishna. That's Avatar Katha. Katha Amritam Shraddhanoya. So this is how a grihast must associate with saintly persons and hear the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Lord. Right? So what is mentioned. Says here, the another specific description here is Shavanam Bhagavato Vikshanam Avatar Katha Amrita. It is not that because one has once finished Bhagavad Gita, he should not hear it again. The word Abhikshanam is very important. We should hear again and again. There is no question of stopping. Even if one has read these topics many times, he should go on reading again and again because Bhagavad Katha, the words spoken by Krishna and spoken by Krishna's devotees about Krishna are Amritam, nectar. The more one drinks this Amritam, the more he advances in his eternal life. Yeah. So what is mentioned, the one who drinks this Amritam more and more, the more he advances in the spiritual life. Anilji?
यावतर्थमुपासीनो देहे गेहे च पंडितः विरक्तो रक्तबत्तः नलोके नरतां न्यसेत्. While working to earn his livelihood as much as necessary to maintain body and soul together, one who is actually learned should live in human society unattached to family affairs, although externally appearing very much attached. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, how a Grihasthashram can attain the liberation is what is being described. Ajay?
ज्ञातयः पितरो पुत्रा भ्रातरः सुहृदो अपरे यद्वदन्ति यदिच्छन्ति चानुमुदेत निर्ममा. An intelligent man in a human society should make his own program of activities very simple. If there are suggestions from his friends, children, parents, brothers, or anyone else, he should externally agree, saying, yes, that is all right. But internally, he should be determined not to create a cumbersome life in which the purpose of life will not be fulfilled. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And what is the purpose of life?
Purpose of life is to go back to Godhead, actually.
And for that, basically, surrender to Supreme Personality of Godhead. And surrender really means doing the devotional service. And what are the different ways of doing the devotional service?
9 ways.
Right. Yeah.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Archanam, Patsimvanam, Atmanivedanam, Sankyam, Dasam.
Dashyam. Right. Yeah. Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Ishwaranam, Padu Sevanam, Archanam. And yeah, Sakyam, Dashyam, Atmanivedanam. So those are the different ways we can do the devotional service. That is the goal of life. Isha?
Divyam Bhamam Chantariksham Vidam Achrita Nirmitam Tat Sarvam Apayujjana Etad Kuryat Sato Buddha. The natural products created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be utilized to maintain the bodies and souls of all living entities. The necessities of life are of 3 types: those produced from the sky, from rainfall, from the earth, from the mines, the seas, or the fields, and from the atmosphere, that which is obtained suddenly and unexpectedly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Narad Muni keeps on describing the necessities of life, right? Comes from sky, earth, and the atmosphere. Yavad Bhriyetu Jataram Tatau Svatvam Hi Dehinam Adhikam yo abhimanyet saisteno dandar mahite. One may claim proprietorship to as much wealth as required to maintain body and soul together, but one who desires proprietorship over more than that must be considered a thief, and he deserves to be punished by the laws of nature. Yeah, basically what Narad Muni is saying, you get as much wealth as you need. Anilji?
मृगोस्त्रस्खरमार्का कुसरीसृगमक्षिकाः आत्मनः पुत्रवत् पश्येतैर्रेषामन्तरं कियत्. One should treat animals such as deer, camels, asses, monkeys, mice, snakes, birds, and flies exactly like one's own son. How little difference there actually is between children and these innocent animals. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And what Narad Muni is essentially saying is that all the living entities, are essentially Lord Krishna's children. Yeah. Ajay?
Trivarganati Krichen Bhajed Grihame Dhyapi Yatha Desham Yatha Kalam Yavaddev Padatitam. Even if one is a householder rather than a brahmachari, a sannyasi or a vanprastha, one should not endeavor very hard for religiosity, economic development, or satisfaction of the senses. Even in the householder life, one should be satisfied to maintain body and soul together with whatever is available with minimum endeavor, according to place and time, by the grace of the Lord. One should not engage oneself in ugra karma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Isha?
Ashwadante Vashayedya Kaman Sam Vipajedyatha Hapi Ekam Atmanodharam Nirnam Sattva Graho Yataha. Dogs, fallen persons, and untouchables, including chandalas, dog-eaters, should all be maintained with their proper necessities, which should be contributed by the householders. Even one's wife at home, with whom one is most intimately attached, should be offered for the reception of guests and people in general. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jahadyadarte svana pranan anyada pitaram gurum kashyam svatam istriyam jaddadistine hajitojita. One so seriously consider one's wife to be his own that he sometimes kills himself for her or kills others, including even his parents or his spiritual master or teacher. Therefore, if one can give up his attachment to such, he conquers the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never conquered by anyone. Right? What Narad Muni is saying is basically, how can you live in the materialistic world without so much attachment? Anilji?
Siddharya Gyavasistartha Kalpayed Vittimatmanah Peshe Sutham Janma Pragya Padavim Mahatamiyat. An intelligent person should be satisfied with eating prasad, food offered to the Lord, or with performing the 5 different kinds of yajna, Panash, Suna. By such activities, one can give up attachment for the body and so-called proprietorship with reference to the body. When one is able to do so, he is firmly fixed in the position of a Mahatma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Isha?
Devan Rishini Bhutani Pitanatma Atmanam Anvaham Savrita Vrityagata Vitena Yajita Purusham Prita. Every day one should worship the Supreme Being who is situated in everyone's heart. And on this basis, one should separately worship the demigods, the saintly persons, ordinary human beings, and living entities, one's forefathers and oneself. In this way, one is able to worship the Supreme Being in the core of everyone's heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Narad Muni continues answering Yudhishthira Maharaj on how a grihastha should also be. Right? So we saw how a brahmachari should live, how a vanashram, how a sannyasi should live, right? Vanapristhvasi should live, and then how a priest also should be living is what is being described, right? So I think we are going to pause here, continue to read this. We are almost close to the 7th skand. I think we have a couple of more adhyayas, and then we'll be completing the 7th skand, and then we'll have 5 more to go, right? So slowly and surely, I think we are moving forward, getting there. And yesterday we were listening to the Hong Kong Harinam Kirtan. We'll continue to hear that for again 6 to 7 minutes more. So this is in the street of Hong Kong, just last week. So we'll hear the Kirtan live.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare.
All right, so nice kirtan on the Hong Kong near the river walk. So it's Wednesday, so we'll have a nice long weekend. We'll see you back on Monday.
Okay, all right. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. I think everyone is on. I think everybody is already on a long weekend today. Seems like. I know Prem is traveling. He's in Boston today, and Tarun is actually he's too engaged in this convention, and there's a meeting coming up on May 5th. So I think he's busy into that. So everyone is doing something. But we'll see you back on Monday. All right, Ajay. Your weekend. See you. All right, Isha. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai
Krishna,
Krishna.
Krishna.